Hi everyone, Sports Jazz, Josh and Isaac. We are back. I said this in the calmest way possible, in the most broken way. Glory, glory, Manchester United. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, yeah, glory, glory, Manchester United. I mean, take me
Oh
home,
God.
take me home.
What a poor game we watched. By the way, if you're a Spurs fan, first of all, congratulations to Spurs. Yeah,
Really?
17 years. So, yeah, Josh, that's why I'm saying, first of all, a huge congrats to them. It's been 17 years. And they have won, Europa, and then they're in Champions League next season. But that was a very, very poor win. I mean, the whole game, by the way, both teams were very, very poor. Although United tried playing in the last
It, it
2015,
didn't.
but
No, no,
still
no, no.
they all sucked. They were all shitty. They were so poor, and it's just sad. It's just sad. But Josh, I think the only way I found solace in what you always say, because you always say I always expected that. I always expected United. In other words, I'm not having my hopes high this season. That's what you've always said, because we are poor. So you're waiting for next season, and looks like you were right this time around. Things went south, completely south for Man United.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They did go south, but I think for me it was a blessing in disguise in so many ways. I was more hurt about United not having won a trophy than the things that come with the trophy because. For the game itself, I mean, I wasn't even hurt that we actually didn't win the game because we
I
were the
was.
better team on the
I'll
night.
be
We
pretending I
were the
was hurt.
better team on the night. The game was very boring, like I had predicted it would be. But United bossed the game. The better players of United failed to show up on the night. Bruno Fernandes was never himself. Casemiro was never himself. They did play well, but they were not extraordinary in any manner, shape, or form. So that became a bit very difficult for United to continue to go forward. But in that game, even under the circumstances, we had 70% of the ball. We created enough chances to win the game. We failed to score like we've done all season. And yeah, Andre Onana, like we predicted, gave away the game with the only I think the only shot at goal. And yeah, he had a howler, and yeah, it was in for 1-0. The
No, no,
rest of
no,
the game
boy.
was
Another
a bit
show.
boring. I think Ruben Amorim should have done a bit more during the game. I don't know why he delayed to bring on the substitutions.
Substitutions, man.
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
for me, I
And he
felt
always brings them on so early.
yeah, I felt like because of the way Mount had performed, even when he had a bad showing during the game, the manager continued to trust that
You mean
Mount will.
performing against Atletico Bilbao, him scoring 2 goals?
Yeah, even Chelsea, Bilbao, and Chelsea. The ever since he's come back, he's been showing up, and maybe the manager did think that Mason Mount is gonna get into the game and they will give better results than Ganacho. I mean, for me, I did predict that Ganacho would play from the start. That is in my lineup, but I was not. Hurt that Ganacho was not starting because he only kept starting because we did not have an option to have him sit out the game because Ganacho is for me for me I do think Ganacho is the reason that Eric Ten Hag got the sack. I do think
Uh,
that
uh,
Ganacho is the reason. Please, just hold up. I do think that Ganacho is the reason Eric Ten Hag got the sack. I do think that Ganacho is the reason that United has not scored as many goals this season. I do think that the reliance on Alejandro Garnacho this season has hurt Manchester United more than Manchester United has hurt Garnacho. So for him to come out and say that he's played in every round and contributed tremendously to our progress up to this point in the final, and only for him to play 20 minutes, it's hurting. I do understand as a footballer, you're hurt that you're not part of it, but you cannot question the manager's decision to take him out, because it's a hit or miss with the selection of players. And besides, Ganacho is not head over shoulders over the players in and around the team. I mean, for all the time he's played in the Europa League, he scored 1 goal, and he was guilty of fluffing so many chances this season, even on the verge of um, um, us getting knocked out against Lyon, when he could have stretched the game and we would have been a 3-0 up in that very game. So, I mean, for me, it is not really a thing you can say that, yeah, Ganacho. I'm not heaping all the blame on Ganacho. I don't even blame Ganacho. Maybe I blame Man United for thinking too much of Ganacho, because you will ask me why not blame Rasmus Højlund, because Rasmus Højlund was written off. He's not a player that a United fan can actually think about in terms of maybe getting us a goal or something like that. But Garnacho has been a player who has consistently fluffed his chances in front of goal. So, I mean, I really don't. I wouldn't have no qualms if Garnacho was leaving Manchester United. If we do get good money for Garnacho, I would believe that if you signed a player like Brian Mbuemo for Garnacho, that is a very big improvement, and you're steadying the ship to actually maybe get much better, because Cunha and Brian Mbuemo as the inside 10 is a much improved inside 10 than having Garnacho playing that side. Because for me, Garnacho is a very talented, good player, but Garnacho does not have the chops to play in the this Amorim side as an inside 10. He really wants to go and exploit spaces. He wants to actually play a bit wide, and he has a lot of room to run into. But as an inside 10, he doesn't have nimble feet to actually help him ghost away in those positions. And he's not that technical to be able to play quick balls like maybe Joshua Zirkzee would. So for me, I would welcome the idea that Garnacho leaves Manchester United, and we do sign a proper experienced player like Brian Mbemo.
Bro. That 8 minutes going in on Garnacho. Come on, Josh. Once again, guys, please do
I
subscribe.
love the
turn on
player. That's
notification.
why. I
Not
love the
even
player. That's
introduced.
why.
Sports Jazz, yeah, that's Sports Jazz. That's I mean, that's Josh, guys, going in straight 8 minutes non-stop. Please do subscribe, turn on the notifications. It's Sports Jazz, Josh, Isaac. We are in the building, and of course, Josh. The question is, what's next for Manchester United, Josh? I mean, we crumbled. That team crumbled so bad. The comments that Bruno Fernandes said, I actually have no problem with what he said. Him saying, "Look, if the club think it's in the best interest for me to be sold to bring in funds, I have no problems with that. It's okay.
He
I
has
love the
always said
club.
that,
I want
actually.
to stay, but anything to make Man United, I'm already to lose my arm for that." Then also we had players like Luke Shaw who came in and said, "Look, this wasn't our best. We've lost, but we are going to come back better." Maguire, same story. Then of course you have Garnacho.
Those are players who shouldn't be coming back. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
say they're coming back better. But we don't want you to come back. Maguire, Luke Shaw, Casemiro, Rasmus Højlund. Yes, you've done your bid. We actually appreciate the season that you've taken us through when we are in a very difficult place. But please move on. The club needs to find to re-energize themselves. We need to stop relying on Maguire is fit now. Maguire is the most experienced player at the back. He can do this and that. Please, we need to move on from that. We need to buy players who are capable of giving United a new look than hoping that, yeah, Harry Maguire is experienced and he has suffered a lot. We shouldn't be repaying Maguire because he has been shit at United and now he looks better. Why should the club be paying him for that?
Look, Josh, well, you're still talking going in on Maguire. Of course, you just talked about Garnacho. Of course, Garnacho, the fiancé, his brother went in so hard, especially his brother who said, "Look, you come in, you score goals." I think he was referring to that Atletico game. But again, after that, um, um, you're dropped and you start, you only get a few minutes instead of starting. He was trying, of course, to blame Ruben Amorim. And in fact, before the game, it's like there were signals, because I remember Ganacho twisted, rather was shared something on one of his social media. I think it could have been Instagram. I'm not so sure, where he was just showing the goals he had scored through that whole journey of the Europa, the road to the Europa finals. Even so, in other words, it's like he was already saying, informing everyone, even after all these
No,
performances,
he knew. He
even me,
remember the players know
even
fast
after
that
scoring
they're
all these
starting or not.
goals, I'm not going to start. I think he had already been told, they had been informed.
Yeah, but I mean, he scored one goal in the Europa, and it was in the last game.
Well,
Oh, actually, it wasn't even in the last game. It was in that game where Rasmus Højlund rushed the keeper and won the ball back. So Garnacho tapped it in.
well, once again, guys, please do subscribe, turn on the notifications. Josh. So, well, I mean, there are two sides of the story, Josh, when it comes to Ganacho. I mean, you really can't blame him if he's saying that. I mean, it's true.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, that
Whatever
one
he's
is
saying
100.
are facts. The team has
Yeah, that
poorly
one is hundred
performed.
percent human. Like
Yeah,
a
that's what I'm saying.
footballer,
There are
you
two
wouldn't
sides
be out of the team.
of the story. I mean, some people are going really hard on Ganacho for coming out and saying all that. Yes, they're true to say that, but again, as I was saying, Josh, whatever he said was right. We've performed so poorly, we've barely won this season. We've been dreadful. But again, on the other side, I mean, you're not alone on the pitch when you're playing. The goals you score are assisted by some people. The assists you create. Of course, you get people to pass you the ball. You're not a one-man army on the pitch. So the way he said that, the way he put out, I think his delivery was a bit off. The way he put out that statement of him showing that even after coming on, that incredible performance in the previous games, he only comes on to play a few minutes. Well, then I think let me go to the summer, rather we are going for the summer. Let me go that side. Let's see what we will see. In other words, he's calling suitors. He's calling all teams that want to take him to come and take him. So I think that was really that delivery was really off. He shouldn't have done, because he's not a one-man team. He doesn't play alone. For me, to score, he has to get people that have to assist him. And I think it was a bit selfish of Garnacho to say that. But again, on the other hand, as I've said, Josh, whatever he was saying or whatever he said is also true, Josh. We've been dreadful. We've been so poor. It's just that it's more like he was taking a dig and throwing a dig at Ruben Amorim, and now there's a spat. There's a bit of a rift, and it looks like Garnacho is. I mean, he's one of those people that are going to be sold this summer, Josh. You have Napoli who have never dropped interest in, and they're still interested in him.
Yeah, but Garnacho has always been on the cards to leave Manchester United. For me, as soon as Ruben Amorim came to Manchester United, there are two players who are great talents for Manchester United that I didn't think were going to stay any longer at the club despite their talent. So I started to prepare my mind for Manchester United to actually recoup some money from the sales of these very talented players. Right now, I do believe that maybe United should hold onto one of them, as one actually gets as we get money from one of them. That is Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo, because when Ruben Amorim came in and he actually made it very clear that he was going to play a 3-5-2, a 3-2. Sorry, a
3-4-2-1,
a 3-4-2-1 formation. Then it was very clear that Kobbie Mainoo was never going to play in that midfield, because Kobbie Mainoo does not have the lungs and the legs to actually play in a two-man midfield. So I actually didn't see a position for him, but I know he's a very talented technical player who can play as a 10. So I did think that, okay, yeah, maybe this is a player you can keep around, and he plays as a 10, as a squad player, as maybe that he develops, and maybe he can make that place his own, because he's that talented. But for a player like Garnacho, with a very poor dribble, with a very poor understanding of his own game, I didn't think that it was possible for him to be converted into an inside 10. because Ganacho is a player who thrives running into spaces, and he can actually thrive at a club that allows him to play as a wing forward, whether a right wing forward or a left wing forward. If he's given an abundance of space, then it is easy for him to run onto the ball. But if you're giving him the ball to fit and you're asking him to beat players, I've not, I don't remember a time that Ganacho has been able to beat his man. I mean, yes, he can beat his man for pace, but that is because he has a lot of space to run into. But as an inside 10, there's a lot. The place that you're operating in is crowded, and if you're not really clever and have a nimble feet, you're always going to find it difficult. So for me, I think Ganacho has always been on the cards to leave the club, and he does know that. For me, there would be no love lost.
So you're okay with Ganacho going? I mean, you get the money, you
Yeah, yeah,
fund,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
by the way,
And buy
60,
Mbuemo, buy Mbuemo right away.
60,
Don't even joke about it.
any amount above 60 million pounds is okay. I'm telling you, it's okay,
60. Who
Josh.
are you robbing? Even Napoli didn't. We almost
I, rem-
robbed Napoli,
I remember their
but
chairman said, "Can Ganacho give you 20 goals in the season?" Well,
ADL woke up and is like, no. But
if he
if
cannot, then I don't see that 50 million going down.
but what would you sell Saka for?
Josh, no, Josh, don't bring
No,
in.
just tell me how much would
We
you
are not
sell
talking.
Saka for?
I don't know, Josh. It depends how. I mean, how
No, at
much
the
do you
moment.
want him at the
At the
moment?
moment, yeah.
60 to 70.
Yeah, but Saka only scored 6 goals in the Premier League. So did Garnacho.
So you're saying no, but there is no way. No, 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 Josh. Saka
Yeah,
is
I
better than
mean,
Garnacho. Saka is better than Garnacho. Come on,
yeah,
don't
but
compare,
he did
Josh.
score 6 goals in the Premier League. I mean,
Yeah, he
if you're
spends the
asking,
whole
can he get you 20
majority
goals
of
a
the
season?
time. How many games has he played, Josh? Very few games.
24,
He has been
24.
injured. He has been injured, Josh.
Yeah, 24 games.
Most of majority of the time. But yo, Josh, we are not talking about Saka, but so it's that bad in the Manchester United world, Josh. I mean, the fans are also, by the way, not very happy with Ruben Amorim. They still think the subs should have been done earlier. I still think that is true. Kobe Mino came in so late. I mean, came on, sorry, so late. He could have had an impact. We saw Ganacho had an impact, that shot, he tried running, there was a lot of pressing when those guys came on. Mason Mount should have come off way earlier, Josh. He was way off second half. And Zakzi, you saw the energy he brought on. It's like he wasn't even injured. Very amazing. But I still don't understand whether Rasmus Højlund has Ruben Amorim's nudes. Why does he have to keep playing him? He shouldn't have
Because
played
he
Josh
doesn't
that
have
day.
an option.
No, Josh, there were
I
options.
know your predicted
Okay, at least
lineup
in
had
the
a
second
false
half.
nine.
No,
Your
Josh. Okay, yeah,
predicted
the false
lineup had
nine
a
did.
false nine, but
Correct.
no, it was never
And I
going to
actually
happen.
think, I think because you see, I was very okay with Bruno Fernandes starting with Casemiro in the midfield. Bruno playing.
But I
as a
told you
box-to-box.
Ugarte
But,
should have.
Josh,
That was a
but
mistake.
if you're the manager, the first half is done. You see that is not working. Josh, do what's necessary. Push.
Yeah, with hindsight,
Fernandes up front. You get it.
that's what I thought.
Because as poor as Rasmus Højlund is, you saw even with he barely had chances, for him. He barely had balls coming for him. Sometimes when Bruno Fernandes is playing high up the pitch, you see there's a bit of friction. There's a bit of more movement. Much as he fluffs, much as he misses scoring games, you see at least there's a bit of more. The balls are coming. The balls are trying to find him, which wasn't. The case that happened after he was off when we pressed for almost 15 minutes, playing high up the pitch. The other guys had the whole bus of players in their box. And at the end of the day, Josh, even with that poor game, they won, unfortunately. Very poor and very sad.
Yeah, but like I keep telling you, I actually told you that the biggest problem that we do have is Andre Onana is our goalkeeper, and
Oh
you
my
can't
God, there's
win.
Andre Onana.
You can't
Very,
win
very poor.
trophies with well, you can't win trophies when you don't have a goalkeeper. I mean, no matter the fixture that you're going to play, it could be the worst team in football. It could be a third tier side in England. It is going to win if it has a moment with a shaky keeper like Andre Onana. I mean, yeah, like Mark Goldbridge was screaming out, he's like a statue of liberty for sure. I mean, he
Yeah,
doesn't really
I,
do much.
I
He
saw
doesn't
that
really
clip. It
do
was
much.
moving. doing rounds. He called him a statue. He's
Yeah,
statue
but
builder.
he's
It's
sort of
just
right.
there
I
stuck.
mean, the guy
But
is stuck. He doesn't do much. He doesn't help. Vicario caused a lot of problems for himself, from which United could have scored.
very poor. He was
But
very poor, Josh.
yeah, he was very poor. But he managed to pull off 3 or 4 saves in a
Correct.
game. I mean,
Oh, that
Onana did not save
there's that
shit.
other header Van der Ven saved. You know, the one that he took off the line. But anyway,
Oh, Rasmus Hoylands.
no, it was Luke Shaw. Was it Rasmus Hoyland?
No,
It
it
was
was
Luke Shaw.
Rasmus Hoylands. No. Vicario was Luke Shaw.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, just that's how it is. I mean, you have Ganacho and Amorim having a rift right now, and it's more
There is no
likely
rift. There is no rift. Let
it's
him
more
go.
likely that Ganacho is going to leave. You
There
have
is no
players like
rift.
Kobe Mino. Around 7 players have been put on the list for them to leave, which includes Kobe Mino if suitors come and with a great offer. Ganacho, the same story. You have Casemiro, 10 to 15 million pounds. I think they'll let him go, because the wages are really too high, 350 per week. Yet your team is performing the way they are performing. It's really, really, really so. I mean, it doesn't make sense. So anyone who comes in with that amount of money, I know they are going to cash in on them. Then you have Anthony, 30 million pounds. Josh will be okay for Anthony. 30
40,
million pounds.
40.
You're not going to get 40, Josh.
Anthony, yeah, but Anthony should cost more than
Uh,
Anthony should cost more
accept your losses and move
than
on. 30
Rashford.
million pounds would be okay. Rashford, I don't know, whatever amount we're able to get. The good thing with Rashford and Ganacho, Josh, is the academy boys, Kobe Mino, academy products. Now, there is no PSR. When you get that amount, it's a clean slate. It's clean money.
It's
So
a full profit.
yeah, full profit. So I'm hoping, I mean, we come through, or rather, teams come through, and who knows,
But
you
the
could have
money
a
must be spent
150
wisely. For me, I don't want
150
the
million
money to
pounds
be
in terms
spent
of
on
funds,
buying
transfer funds.
Semenyos. I don't want
No,
the
no, no,
money
no. I
to be
also don't want
spent
Semenyo.
for buying Semenyos. I want you buy Brian Mbuemo, you buy Yokeres. You make a statement. Make a
Well,
statement with the players that you're signing.
I know that I also agree. Now that you're
Maybe I
going
can tell
into
you. Oh, sorry.
no, sorry. Now that you're going into players that Man United should buy, I think let's go straight into the transfers. Yeah, Gyökeres to Man United is still not yet off, even after United losing out on the Champions League spot next season. I think it all comes to the salary and the amount that they're supposed to pay at Sporting Lisbon, because we all know Gyökeres has a special bond, a special relationship with Ruben Amorim, and it won't be so hard to convince him to come. So let's wait and see. Matthias Cunha is still on for Man United. The deal is going to be finalized very soon. It's just that he's coming in when we are in a turmoil, a huge turmoil. Ruben Amorim, it's been confirmed he's staying. I don't know where those rumors are coming from, that
Yeah.
they've already told him that he has to send everything. I think everyone knew that before even the finals, that Ruben Amorim is staying, Josh. So I don't know where that has been coming from.
Yeah, Ruben Amorim will be backed to reshuffle the team with about 9 players expected to be signed. And there's also this whole talk about Sheikh Jassim, who still is interested in buying Manchester United. So maybe there's some good news there. Gyökeres is really interested in a move to Manchester United. The only
that is correct.
problem is he wants a bit of high wages, and for me, I do think that United doesn't really have anything to offer apart from the high wages. So I mean, just pay the high wages and wrap it up and get rid of some dead wood that you actually had on very high wages. So for me, if I think Gyökeres can be given about 200k, I mean that should be good enough for him to come to United, or 220, 250k. That should be good enough to come to United, because you can get rid of Luke Shaw. You can clear the wage bill. Luke Shaw, Maguire,
The wage
Casemiro,
bill, the funds raised would
Onana,
even close to.
Hoyland. Yeah, you
But
can
who
get
wants to
rid
take
of.
them, Josh? Who wants to buy
It
them?
doesn't matter, man. You can find a way. The West Hams of this world would take a player like Maguire. I mean, yeah, just get rid of all those players.
Everton.
Then, yeah, and the Saudi League is Man United has not yet benefited from the Saudi League. Maybe this is
Either way.
our opportunity for United to benefit from the Saudi League. by shipping off some of those players to that side. But I do think that Amorim will buy right. He will buy the right players because it is rumored that he did deny the 100 million check that was available for the transfer, that was mooted to be available for
No, I don't
the
think that is
transfer
true.
window.
I don't
Yeah,
think
he
that is
wants
true.
much more than that because he needs a whole rebuild. And for me, if you're rebuilding, be honest with yourself. I don't want that. One of the reasons I never liked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reign at Man United, he was not honest with himself. I mean, much as he wanted to change things, he just kept.
You really never liked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Josh.
Yeah, no, I like the guy, the man. I like the man, but the manager I didn't like because I don't like a manager who is a pushover. I don't like a manager who is a bit of going to let things slide. I mean, you
Mhm.
want to get rid of a player, but you don't get rid of the player when the opportunity comes, and you hope that the player can turn out to be something that you deep down know he will not. I mean, you're just buying time, but the player is not going to be what you want, and he's not going to take you anywhere. So for me, I do think that Ruben Amorim will buy right. He should be honest with himself. He should buy the players in the positions that he has identified and the profile of a player that he believes is capable of playing in the Premier League and competing at that level. At least
Mm.
I've had him a couple of times talking about the profile of players for the Premier League and where Man United, his side, is lacking. And maybe even if United has finished 16th or is 16th in the league this season, maybe if Ruben Amorim uses that time that he has been at the club as a good homework to go into the transfer window, then
Yeah.
maybe it will have been a good thing for him to have been there early.
Well, let's wait and see how things turn out. Oh, and by the way, Josh, have you heard the rumors that United might be walking away from, or might walk away from Ederson and go back in for the other? Is it he plays for Paramelas? I'm forgetting the name.
Oh,
Richard Richard Rios.
Richard
Yeah, yeah,
Rios.
yeah. 20 to 20,
Ooh,
20 million pounds, Josh. I mean, way
are, are
more,
we are we
because
are we
Ederson is
going
going
back
to
for
cost
him?
between 25 and 50. That's the rumor, Josh. We
We're
just
going back
popped
for
up
Richard Rios.
an hour ago that United are likely to, if Atlanta play hard ball and they don't want to reduce the money, they will go in for that kid instead of
Highly
wasting a lot. And I like that.
highly technical player. But
I think that will be fine.
if you do remember, the problem with Richard Rios is the circumstances around his ownership.
Mm,
The agency, yeah, he has about three people involved in his signature. So I mean, the Premier League does, and Man United as such does not really want to do business under those
South
circumstances.
Americans,
Yeah. So I
typical.
mean, if they do sort out that, then maybe Richard Rios would be an ideal player.
Well, that's the rumor. That's the rumor, Josh. But yes, United are actively talking to Victor Yokeres already, his entourage, and they're trying to see if they can get a deal done, Josh. And maybe again, one other thing I can say is, for me, as things stand out, rather as things are right now, it looks like Ganache already has one foot out of the door. I don't see him staying, Josh. I love what
Yeah,
he said. What he said was really
his
correct.
agent,
What he said
his
was
agent.
right, but
What
the
was right?
delivery, not how we say, Josh, we performed poorly, we haven't performed well and everything, but him saying, yeah, look, I blame Amorim not bringing on the players so early, but you as a player, you cannot come out and say, me coming, I'm only playing 19 minutes and everything. It's not always about you. Another thing that I've seen and I don't like about Ganacho is it's always about him.
Yeah.
And
No wonder they
it,
call him Gandalf.
club, it's a club, it's a
No wonder they
collective
call him
effort.
Gandalf. He thinks he's some sort of magician, never passes the ball to anyone.
I don't know who said what. Ganacha has an ego of Cristiano Ronaldo and
Yeah, he has
skills
an
of
inflated ego of Cristiano Ronaldo, but not even the dribble of Sean Wright Phillips. I mean, just Gabriel Obertan.
let's wait and see. Let's wait and see how things go. Yeah, Josh, still looking at the transfer news, Josh. Um, yeah, it looks like Vanja Milankovic Savic is back on the table, but I don't think anyway. I was going to say his age, but again, I remembered I was really happy and fascinated when
With Onana.
we were linked to current Aston Villa keeper who's about to
Amy
move out,
Martinez.
Emi Martinez, who's around 30 something. So,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Vanja is 28, right?
yeah, he's 28.
And he's been at the club, but he's a big frame. He's
Me-
a huge size for a keeper.
What I know, it's like Altair Bayinda is likely to move this summer, which is okay. But
Yeah,
we
he
need
should
a
leave.
player, a serious keeper who is going to come in and give Onana serious competition.
No.
Real
We
serious
don't need
competition.
competition for Nana. We need Onana and Bainda both to leave the club.
No, Josh. By saying that, I mean, of
no,
course, him getting benched.
he doesn't have to be benched. He should just leave the club.
And who's going to come, Josh, and give you the amount of money you want?
We don't want any amount of
Onana.
money. He should go. We cut our losses.
Yeah,
We've
no,
been
Josh.
cutting our losses ever since.
That means
Yeah, we're going
you
to be
have
paying
pay a
him.
certain fine because you'd be terminating him.
We're not going to terminate him. We can. Onana is still a decent keeper. He has suitors. You see, Rasmus Højlund has suitors in Italy, in Napoli,
Surprising, by
Inter
the
Milan.
Napoli, Inter
Yeah, they
Milan,
all want that
Juventus,
guy. Yeah, because
are all interested in him.
that's the type of brute striker that the league demands there.
But Rasmus Højlund, oh my God, how many goals in 34 games? 4 goals? Very
Don't
poor.
even-
Oh my, look,
don't even mention.
I used to, I kept on saying maybe the kid should be given more time, but I think enough is enough. It's time for Rasmus Højlund to leave Manchester United. It's time because it's so poor, beyond poor. There's no way, there's no words that can portray Højlund's performance this whole entire season. It's been so poor, Josh. Very, very poor. And Patrick Dogu, Josh, I don't know why Patrick Dogu hasn't. Is it the adaptation of the EPL? You know, in the EPL,
I don't know.
He's still
That
raw,
guy-
Josh. Very, very raw. And I mean, I'm
Patrick
starting to
Dogu-
have doubts.
I wrote him off because he cannot pass the ball.
You know, I'm starting to really have.
He
serious
had
doubts.
like 2-3 good games, and from then on he has never been the same. Actually, ever since he got the red card,
Mm.
he has never been the same. But that is a player who can improve. That's why when you told me what would my lineup next season look like at left back, I put a player I have not seen play, but I didn't put Dogo. I put Diego Leon.
Yeah, Diego Leon is coming in very soon. The only players that are safe, from what I understand, is Bruno Fernandes. That's if he wants to stay, because the club wants him to stay. They want to build around him. Lenny Euro, what a player! What a player! That kid is real solid. Lenny Euro is game.
Just let
He's
Maguire
solid.
go. Let Maguire go. Have Lenny Euro play in the middle of that back line, and Licha on the left, and Delict on the right. Or Mazraoui.
He's beyond solid. Absolutely. I know we've performed so poorly, but at least you can say he has had a better
Even
season,
in that game,
Even
he had
after
a very good game.
Injury.
He had
a very good game. He had a good game. So you have Lenny Euro, you have Bruno Fernandes, you have
Licha,
Lisandro Martinez, players that are safe, that are not likely to be sold this summer, rather in the summer. And Ugarte, I don't know, did they talk about him? By the way, I didn't see him listed anywhere, staying or not staying. You know, but I think he's also there. Staying. They just got him. And of course, these other kids, Aiden Heaven, you know, Seko Kone is going out on loan. He needs game time.
Seko Kone.
He needs minutes. So next season is good. And that's okay. Of course, I was forgetting Amad Diallo, untouchable. You touch Amad Diallo.
Yeah.
It's a wrap, Josh.
But he had a very poor game.
Yeah, he also had a very poor
That's
game.
why I told you I prefer Amad Diallo playing as a wing back. So he has a lot of space to run into. Not the tighter spaces of operating as a 10, because what Spurs did is to have 3 players on him, and that was it. But when he was playing as a wing back, he's coming from so deep that it's easy for him to exploit a lot of space in front of him.
Yeah, Josh, and not for what's with Ineos, you know, more. I thought 200 people had been laid off already. Or is Man United laying more 200 people at the end of the season?
I don't know, man.
No, because that's the news. 200 people are getting laid off already at the end of this season, Josh. They are trying to cut. It's crazy. That's all I can say, Josh. It's
I
crazy.
don't think it's even about cutting costs. I think it's about trimming. I think they want to have control at the club,
Mm,
and the
mm,
club has been bloated for so
mm.
long that there's little control at the club because there's just too many people doing the same thing, or there's just too many people you can do away with. I remember a time, this was 2014, Louis Van Gaal, when he was managing Manchester United. He did say, actually, that's after they sacked him for Mourinho. He did
Mm,
come out and say that Manchester United is more of a commercial club than a football club. Then he went
mm.
on to say that at
No,
Manchester
that was
United,
Van
this,
Gaal. That was Van Gaal, right?
yes, is the one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Then
Sorry,
he
I thought
went on
Mourinho.
to
Sorry,
say that there's over 200 scouts at Manchester United, but all useless.
which
Over
is true.
200 scouts at Manchester United, but all useless.
Which is
And
true.
from the period that Sir Alex
I mean,
Ferguson
look at
left
the
the club,
players we've recruited.
you can
Very
see that
poor.
we've recruited about 50 players over that period of time. But when you go to look at the players who have made it in that period of time, you can hardly get a handful.
And it's laughable, Josh. I mean, you think about players like Di Maria. How much did we pay for Di Maria?
I think 49,
47,
49
40
or
something.
59.
It's
49 or
59. I
59.
think. I think
Yeah.
59. The total adds
Mm.
everything. You look at such players, Josh. You look at. I mean, right now, I don't want to give a lot of stick to Maguire. I think he has tried, but we say he has
No,
tried because
thank
he's the
you.
best.
Thank you for trying. Leave the club.
That's what I'm saying. I think we
Leave.
say he has tried because he's the best in the current position, and that shows. If you have
He's
Maguire
not.
as one,
He's
no,
not. He's
no.
not.
My point is, if you
He's
have
not.
Harry Maguire as one of your best players, that means your club is really in problems because he cannot. His West Ham United products. He's going to go for Everton. Is going to have a great game. I don't even think right now Maguire would feature in Aston Villa, to be honest.
No, Burnley has come back.
But
It should go to Burnley.
they are
Those
back,
teams
by
are
the
looking
way.
for players with
They are
Premier League
breaking goals.
experience.
Hmm.
The Luke Shaws, the Maguires, please go and play for Burnley.
Luke Shaw's contract, Mason Mount's contract. They're still very heavy contracts,
No,
and
Mount can
I
stay
don't see anyone
around.
who's going to take them. You say Rashford himself is giving
Mount
us
has to play
problems, Josh.
football. Mount has to play football for him to have suitors. And Mount is. I can't judge Mount. Okay, it's difficult to judge Mount because he's not played any football. So for me to say that we wasted money buying Mount,
Mm.
no, it's not fair.
Well, you don't think that is fair?
Yeah, it cannot be fair. I mean,
No,
he
okay,
has not
Josh.
played
How
football.
do you rate Mason Mount's overall season
What
performances?
I'm telling you is I cannot rate him because it
He
is
barely
not
played.
applicable. Yes, it's not applicable. So why would I want Mount to leave or to stay? Or it's not. Let the guy play some football so I can judge.
I think we've seen that. We've done the same thing with Anthony, Josh, and look where. And by the way, I'm starting to believe whatever you're saying, Josh. We've had players who have been, or rather, United has signed players who have come, joined the club, and it turns out they are very poor. Those players leave, go for other teams, and they're playing so good, Josh. We even have our own players, academy players like Scott McTominay. He's undroppable in the Serie
Yeah,
A, Josh.
yeah,
Very,
but
very undroppable.
in United's defense for players like McTominay,
Mm,
they only left the club because of the circumstances the club was in. If
mm,
Man United had a bit of money, I don't think we would be looking to selling a player like Kobe Mino. But because of the circumstances that we are in, we are including Kobe Mino on the transfer list because we shall have pure profit when we do do a transaction for a player like that. I remember when Eric Ten Hag wanted to sell players, he actually gathered academy players. Zidane, Iqbal, and all these players that he never wanted to let go, but he had to let go because those are the players. Even if you were getting 2.5 million, it was all pure profit.
Hi, Magala Brian. Shout outs to you, brother. Please do subscribe. Subscribe, Magala. Josh Brian is
Magala.
asking, Magala,
Yeah.
sorry, Magala. Yeah, he's asking, hi, Josh, I want to talk to you about whether we could have gone to the UCL or it was necessary. I think he's trying to ask,
Yeah,
was it really necessary for us to go?
that's what I was telling you. I mean, it is a blessing in disguise we didn't get to the Champions League. I know for me, I wanted to win the trophy, okay? But the reward that you get from winning the trophy is going to the Champions League. But United is never, ever
Josh,
ready
you're
to go in the
forgetting about
Champions League.
money. You're forgetting about.
The
Oh, I
money,
agree with you, Josh. Okay, I agree with
I'm
you.
not
Yes.
interested
See,
in the
Josh, we're
money.
really going to pay 10 million pounds to Adidas for failing to qualify for UCL.
Yeah, yeah, I know
Already,
it puts us in a better stead. It puts
if
us
we
in a
had
better stead.
qualified, that the amount of money was close to 100 million pounds, Josh.
Yes, we are in a better state, but United is a very big institution, and United is a rich club. I mean, it might be struggling, but I don't think Sir Jim Ratcliffe is being fair to the funds and the stock market exchange by with the things that he's saying. I do believe that United can find ways to find the money to actually bolster their squad to be competitive. I do not believe that United is going to be broke by the end of the year. I do not believe that United is not going to be able to find money to do these transactions or bolster the squad. So I do think that not going to the Champions League helps Manchester United rebuild because we only have one competition. We only have domestic competitions to actually help the squad get together.
When you
I
put it
mean,
like that, I do agree with you. If you
yeah,
put
we
it out
do
like
have a
that,
lot of young. We do have a lot of young kids and stuff like that, and we are trying to find ourselves. So when you have baggage of playing in Europe and stuff, we are not good enough to actually compete in Europe next season. We are not. No matter no matter the number of players that we are going to buy,
I
I
was
don't
really,
think we shall be ready to play in Europe.
I was
So
thinking about the
you're
money
wasting. Yeah,
and
you're
the
wasting
effect
time.
us
You're wasting.
qualifying would have on
Mm.
players that we want to sign, players like Gyökeres, Josh. That's
Yeah,
what I was
yeah,
really
I
much more
do.
focused
Yeah,
on, you know.
now
But right now it's
it is not black and white, okay? Like Brian, it is not black and white. That it is like um it is a coin with two faces. You know, on the other side, you do get money, you can attract players and stuff like that. But for me, from a football perspective, I do believe it was better for us not to have gone for the Champions League. United as a football club and Ineos as a management team, they should find a way to actually get money to bolster the squad and back the manager to get the players that we can get. Maybe we fail to get Gyökeres, but we can get the next best thing. And we need to build a squad to be able to play at least in the domestic league. What is most important for Manchester United right now is the domestic league. It's not the Champions League. Even if we won the Champions League next
by the
season,
way,
but
Amorim also
we
said,
are
look,
eighth.
I love the Champions League. I think it's a great
Yeah,
trophy, but my main concern, I think it would make a lot much more news and meaning if Manchester United lifted the Premier League. That's what he was saying.
exactly. Even we need to actually start to challenge. We need to be contenders again in the Premier League before you can start to think about competing in the Champions
It's
League.
going
There's a
to
thing.
take us around 3 seasons for
It's all
us to
right.
get
It's all right.
that, Josh.
But we have an opportunity now that we are not in the Champions League for us to be very clever, smart,
That I
and
agree.
do the right decisions in
Josh,
this
that
moment
I
to
agree.
help
But my
us.
worry is
Yes.
where are we going to get the right players who are going to come, knowing we do not? Of course, it's Manchester United. That's the first thing. It's Man United.
Yeah,
Players will always,
the allure is still
players will
there
always come. We
to
shall always
attract
sign big
players.
players, but this time it's different, Josh. I have a feeling United is going to finish the 17th. after the
Okay,
last game in the
be
Premier League,
it as it may, be it as it may. Okay,
And who's going to come, besides the
everyone
name
can
and
come. I wasn't there that season that you finished 17th. Okay, so I'm coming to your club now. I mean, all I need is you to sell me a project that is actually that I can see that we are actually not going to finish 17th next season. So you can just table to me that yes, you're branding Burmo. I've already signed Matias Cunha. And last season, I did have a lot of problems scoring goals, but you've scored 18 goals already. And I think
Mhm.
that if you're playing in front of a player like Bruno Fernandes, who you are going to get Manchester United out of the pits that it's in. And maybe this is sold by a manager who actually says that, you are the right player for the system that I want. I want to play at Manchester United. That's why I'm going to bring a striker in the mold of Gyökeres for you to benefit from. And maybe this is we have to pay money. We when you finish that far, you to attract players, you have to pay money. You just
Yeah,
have
that
to
is
pay
true.
money.
You just have to pay money. That is true. And anyway, United is a big brand. That alone could still welcome, or rather, bring in
Big
players.
up,
And
big up,
I
big up
think
to you,
it's
Magala.
big up to you, Brian. I think just it's good. First of all, it will be nice to have Brian Mbuemo and Matthias Cunha as our tens. And also
Exactly.
not forgetting the
You
versatility of
see,
both players. They can play within those two positions, and they can even play up front. But Josh, we also need a striker. So you told me
yeah.
last time if Gyökeres doesn't come through, you're okay and contented with getting Liam Delap. And look, Josh, I like Liam Delap. 12 goals
If
this
I do
season.
have those two players, if I do have those top, that's what I told you that if your first target, if your first target fails, okay, you get the next best thing. So if
That
United, because of the position that it's in, cannot get Gyökeres or Victor or Seaman, then who is the next best thing? The next best thing is
Liam
Liam
Delap.
Delap.
I know,
However,
Josh. Mm,
because we finished 17th this season,
mm.
for United to make a jump start to getting back to the glory days, we need Gyökeres. We don't need Liam Delap.
That's what I was going to say. That Delap is a promising player, 20 years old, very, very promising. But we do not need right now. United does not need a striker who is going to take 2 more years, Josh, to burst onto the scene and score
No,
assists
he
and
might
goals.
not.
We
He
need
might not take 2 more years because the kid is
a
good. But
prolific, already made striker, Josh.
no, the kid is good. The kid can score those goals. But because our team is not settled, it might actually also destabilize his game. But if that kid went to a club like Man City or Liverpool or even Arsenal, when much of the pieces have already been put together, that kid can get you double digits. On the other side of the double digits, he can get close to 20 goals or even 20 goals a season because he's that good. He's good in the air. He's fast. He's a menace to defenders. He can do so many good
Look,
things. It's just
I,
that Man
you
United is
say
in a
you
bad
don't
shape.
like Jonathan David, but I like that Canadian.
No, I do like the guy. I'm just worried a striker called Jonathan David. Yeah? I mean,
In the
nothing,
Premier
nothing.
League.
No. I mean, just Jonathan David, like a
Look, you
striker.
have Chris Wood. You have Chris Wood. How old is he? 32.
Yes,
And he's banging
yes.
goals. What an
No.
incredible
Yeah,
season he's
but you
had
see
this
how long
season.
it took
So
him to bang goals, bro.
once again, guys, please do subscribe, turn on the notifications, subscribe, get into the comment section, say what you think about the current state of Manchester United, the transfers you'd have or you'd wish to have at the club. Do you think Ruben Amorim is the man to take Man United to the promised land if he's well funded? And we all understand it's going to be funded. Of course, there's a kit there. Roma is it's 100 million pounds, but I also understand United needs to sell players, and if that's the case with all these players we've mentioned, you have Anthony, you have Tyrell Malacia, just the other side in Netherlands. Who's this player that Madrid is about to buy from Benfica? Because we have
Alvaro Fernandez,
Alvaro
Carares.
Fernandez. Yeah, we have a a buyback clause, so we are going to get some money around 10 M. Also could come, So you have players like Casemiro who might be sold. Very many players, Josh. Then of course the wage bill also. You're letting Victor Lindelof go, Evans go. Tim Heaton might stay. You know, being a third choice goalkeeper, he might get another one. Yeah. Josh. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. Kobe Mino and Ganacho are not safe. Someone comes in with a very, very good offer. It looks like all these players are going, Josh. So, and Maguire himself. And look, if anyone comes through and they have the right amount of money, apart from Lenny Euro, Fernandez, and okay, Ugate, Ahmad Diallo, Joshua
Zagzi.
Zakzi, the rest can go. I'm not forgetting about you, Onana, who has been very poor,
No,
beyond poor this season.
Onana doesn't
You know,
need competition. Onana needs to go. We need to find that kid in Espanyol. We need to buy
Johan Garcia.
Garcia.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah,
need
yeah.
to buy Yohan Garcia. And I know Yohan Garcia's stock is very high, and so many clubs that are more attractive than Manchester United are up for his signature. But we should find a way to get him. If we do get him, we still get another keeper. We do get Vanja. Milankovic. I mean, this is a guy who has been around Manchester United before, and maybe it would be an easy deal to do. But Andre Onana, he needs to go to Saudi Arabia and make some money. Make that money, boo boo. Just go, boy. Go.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta
man.
go.
Onana needs to move. Onana just needs to move. It's been horrible. Well, Brian says we should be patient and we need to couple up with our coach formation. No need for Champions League. We will be better next season. That is also the other thing. I mean, a lot of
I
players.
agree with you.
There's rumor. Thank you. That is a very good one, Brian. There's rumor that some players have been sulking because of Ruben Amorim's system. We've also seen this from the journalist Josh. You know, the English journalists always raining on him. Why? We've seen former players like Paul Scholes also doing the same thing. Why can't you change? Why can't you change? Why can't you change the formation?
Let me
And
tell you
look,
some. Let me tell you
look,
some.
the man has his
Okay.
own identity. You know, Josh. Sorry, I mean, he has his
No,
own
no
identity.
problem.
We've seen that identity work. We've seen Antonio Conte winning with that formation, Josh. We've seen him win with a 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 formation. So for people who are saying that formation doesn't win, I don't understand them. Jabi Alonso has been at Bayer Leverkusen. It's the same formation that won him a lot of trophies last season. He only missed out on he almost got a treble, by the way. I think he got a treble domestically, but he was beaten by Atlanta in the Europa League final. So I do not understand why people are questioning Amarim's tactics and formation. For me, or to me, I think you just have to get the right players that do understand the formation, that are ready to execute that formation. First of all, they need to have lungs. Second, they need to have legs, Josh. Casemiro cannot run, Josh, like it or not. Ugate can, but Kobe Mino is not going to run. You saw Mazarawi being substituted. First thing he did when he went to the bench, he was breathing. I mean, the activity that you have to do, you know. So, I mean, people should just give Amorim a break. Let's wait for next season. Get the players that he wants to get, hopefully. And Josh, let's see how things are going to turn out. That's what I think. For anyone that is complaining about Amorim.
For me, I do believe it's the lazy punditry that actually calls for the pundits to keep saying Amorim should change his style and the formation should be like this and like that. None of them is a coach, and they have the opportunity to actually get their coaching badges and actually coach teams. Paul Scholes attempted to be a coach for 2 minutes. I mean, Gary Neville was a coach, and he actually tested it, and he never wants to actually do it ever again. But the thing, though, is, I mean, even if they don't have the ability to be a coach, they can have an opinion that matters. But in this case, I don't see how that matters. That a manager should play as they wish, because I mean, these same players have played in a 4-3-3 formation. They've played in a 4-3-2-1 formation. They've played under 3 managers at Manchester United, and they've still given shit. They've not been any better than the current system. So if you're saying that if you've been quarreling before that Manchester United is bad, and we play this system and we finish 16th, your justification cannot be that, okay, they were bad before, but they were 10th. Now they are 16th. So it's the system that is why they are 16th. you have to put in consideration that Amorim came to Manchester United midway through the season, and United was not flying. I mean, it was not a
Correct.
place with a lot of confidence and stuff like that, where players would get maybe a bounce. There's that new manager bounce that always comes at teams, but it comes at teams where players have actually been capable, but have just fallen off. But in the past 2 seasons of Manchester United, you could see that the club was already struggling with the players that they had at the club. I mean,
Yeah.
we were bringing in new players like Alejandro Garnacho and Kobe Maino, and we were trying to find ourselves. So with a new manager, you wouldn't get the bounce that maybe managers usually get, because that bounce normally comes with players already at the club who have just gotten out of form, but they have been performing before. But for large periods of the players at United have not been performing, so it was easy for um us to keep going down under Ruben Amorim. But for me, I believe that Ruben Amorim took some notes, did his homework, and now
I think,
he can get the right profiles of players to
yeah,
compete
hopefully.
in the Premier
I
League
think
during the summer.
I think he has learned also now. And as he said he thinks he's the right man for the job. But if United want to sack him, he said he will walk out with without even compensation. He won't even need the compensation. But if it's not the case, he feels he's the right man to do the job. And the one thing I love about Ruben Amorim is his honesty. Josh, you remember? I think a few games after he had taken over Man United this year, he said, "This is the current Manchester. This is the current worst Manchester United squad in the history." And he meant, the players he found. Josh, I mean, you have to rely
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah,
players
yeah,
like
yeah.
Maguire. Do you know how bad and how sad it is that you have to rely on Maguire, Josh, to get you goals?
I know,
It's
I know.
very, very sad. So, Lindelof, the squad depth is really poor. But on the brighter side, I like the youth project that is coming through. Sekou Kone, Aiden Heaven. Yes, I say youth projects. Even I'm going to include those both from outside. Sekou Kone from Arsenal. Sorry, Sekou Kone came from Guiders. You have Aiden Heaven from Arsenal. You have Chido Obi Martin, who I think is a talent to look out for, from Arsenal as well. You have Diego Leon
Samuel
coming through very soon. Samuel
Samuel
Lusane coming
Lusale,
through. Toby Collier, Harry
yeah,
Amas, Godwin Kunkonki,
Matanto. There's,
Matanto,
yeah,
Frederick.
there's so
What's
many.
this kid's name? Fredrickson.
Fredrickson, Tyler
You know,
Fredrickson.
Taylor. Very many.
Yeah, there's
Kobe
a
Mino
couple
as
of
well.
players now. A player like Tyler Fredrickson can actually be sold for 20 million pounds. He's that good. He's that good. Yes, he's a young player, but I think he can be sold for a bit of money. He can go for even 20 million pounds. If a team in the championship came for his signature, then maybe United can be making money off those players. But we've been so poor at making deals that it is difficult to see how Manchester United can actually pull off any of those deals. But for me, I do think that it's not all lost. It's not all lost on us not qualifying for the Champions League. If anything, it's just puts us in a better position, because the system that everyone is going on about is that if you watch actually that game against Spurs, we were poor, but we were poor from the things we knew we would be poor at going into the game. One, the goalkeeper. We always knew our keeper was susceptible to an error. The other thing was scoring goals. We always knew that we struggled to score goals. But when you look at the whole outlook of the game, we did have 70% of possession of the ball. We did create enough chances to win a football game, and we just failed to do the things we knew we would fail to do, and ended up in the situation that we actually ended in. So for me, I don't really have a problem with the formation. I do believe that the right players will come in, and yeah, United will be great again.
Well, glory, glory, Man United, guys. I mean, let's hope for the best. Let's hope and pray that next season we come out very, very, very strong. I mean, because man, we need to leave. We need to leave. I mean, we need to set off so fast, and we need to get back to winning ways. I
Amorim should
understand.
just be honest with himself,
Mm-hmm.
not make funny excuses of, Maguire is my friend. Maguire has been at the club for long and stuff like that. I mean, if he's to go, let him go. I mean, sell the players that you don't need at the club and have the players that you actually need at the club to
Mm.
make you win football games.
I know. I think that will be superb. That will be quite incredible. But I mean, let's all stand behind the manager, guys. I know there's a lot of criticism coming through, but let's all stand behind the manager. Let's stand behind the team. Let's support the team. Yes, we've had one of those it's a nightmare. No one is happy, but at the end of the day, it's what it is. I mean, we have players that are supposed to go. Let those players be sold, and let's wait and see what's up. Rather, what's in stock for us next summer. That's all we can say. Once again, guys, please do subscribe, turn on the notifications. It's been a pleasure, man. Brian, shout outs to you. Someone else was in the
Adieri.
comment section. Adieri, shout outs
Adieri.
to you. Everyone that was streaming. We love you, man, so much. We love you all. Please do subscribe, turn on the notifications, share the link, guys. Join the Sports Jazz family. Let's get into the comment section. Let's talk football, ask questions, suggest, and let's keep it locked. Sports Jazz, please do subscribe. We are officially signing out. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.